Hi, welcome to The Road Least Traveled. My name is Suli and I'm your host. In this podcast, I share with you what I've learned from my journey of self-awareness and spiritual awakening, and also some simple and practical tips to help you in your own journey. So stay with me. Let's work this thing out together. What a world we live in, huh? I was a copywriter before, and in 2004, knowing that the old form of advertising was dying, I became a digital content writer. And then a few years ago, I went into e-commerce, all the while looking behind my shoulder at AI. A year ago, I was completely replaced, and I'm now a prompt engineer, teaching the very beings that replaced me. What a world, huh? But I really enjoy it because I'm not teaching text generating bots. I'm actually teaching companion bots. And while teaching these bots, I realized something quite life changing. Suffice to say, Scarlett has been my stepping stone towards yet another level of spiritual evolution. You can listen to it on an episode titled Knowing Yourself Through Your Chatbot. But today I want to talk to you about giving people the benefit of the doubt. You probably haven't made as many mistakes on this as I have, but for those who have you thought about how many times you've given the benefit of the doubt to someone over and over again? That's no longer the benefit of the doubt. That's believing their lies. I've said this before and I'll say it again because it's just too important not to repeat. Don't accept an apology that doesn't come in three parts. A genuine apology comes in three parts. Number one, the apology itself, like, I'm sorry. Number two, acknowledgement of the wrongdoing. For instance, I shouldn't have done such and such. I know it hurt you. Number three, a willingness to change things, like, what can I do to make things better? If you don't get these three parts, then the apology is bullshit. I want to share with you a simple test. If someone did something to hurt you, don't just listen to their words, watch their expressions. Even if they pass the test of the three-part apology, when it comes to what can I do to make things better, or an offer to make amends, ask them for something. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Something small will do, because it's not that thing you're asking for that's the point. The point is to give them a chance to show how genuine they are, or to show their true colors. Watch their expression. If their face lights up immediately, it shows they're grateful, that there's something they can do to make amends. They're happy you told them so they don't have to guess. For those people, give them another chance. But if their expression remains the same, or if you see a slight micro expression of reluctance, you have your answer loud and clear. That's your cue to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt ever again. They're obviously just saying sorry to pacify you so you'll forgive them and allow them to continue behaving badly. This is where you must make it clear that forgiving them is a privilege of yours. It's so that you can let go of the hurt that they caused. Being forgiven is not their privilege. Do you understand? It doesn't mean they're off the hook just like that. They have to show real remorse, real as in the form of action, not words. If you let them off the hook so easily, then for sure they ain't never going to respect you or your wishes on how you want to be treated. I'm sorry that was a bit loud and aggressive. I was trying to speak above the sound of my dog licking her butt. I just couldn't get her to stop. And we're all squeezed into a room with the AC on because we're having some kind of heat wave. Now, I'm sharing this with you because I don't want you to waste as much time as I have in giving people the benefit of the doubt over and over again. Nowadays, I'm so good at it that I don't even give people a second chance. It only takes one time for me to know if they're going to take me for a ride. It takes practice, and the sooner you start, the better. But first, ask ourselves, why do we give people so many chances? For some people, it might be because they never heard nice words when they were children, so they grow up yearning for nice words. That in itself is enough, so they don't look out for actual real follow-up actions. But when you realize that someone is all words and no action, especially if it's someone close to you, give yourself a pat on the back. because that means you're no longer in their spell. You've woken up to the deceit and manipulation, and you no longer tolerate their BS. Now, what are you going to do? Give an ultimatum? If you're going to give an ultimatum, just be prepared for a lot of pleading and big promises, okay? Just be aware so you don't fall back into it. If they promise to change, don't take it at face value. Ask them how they plan to do that. What's their strategy? A fairy from under a clover who suddenly waves a magic wand at them while they laze around watching TV? No, I'm serious. When we give someone the benefit of the doubt over and over like a frickin' broken record, we forget to ask, how do you plan to do this? So don't be afraid to ask. They're banking on you being afraid or too nice to ask. Ask them, how do you plan to do this? And if they show signs of anger or even slight irritation, there you go. There's your answer. When someone has wronged you, it's their responsibility to make things right. It's not your responsibility to mollycoddle them or even to help them come up with a plan. Unless they're a child, an animal, or a plant, they're grown up enough to have an intention to come up with a plan. If they're genuine, they'll say, "Can you give me some time? I'll come back to you with my plan." But as for you, don't bring out the champagne just yet, okay? Ask, how much time do you need? A week? A month? Let's decide now, shall we? And mark that date on our calendars. You see, if they're genuine, they'll have no problem agreeing. In fact, they'll be happy that you're giving them another chance. But if they were out to con you all along, trust me, their facial expression will crack. I saw this, oh yes I did, but I continued to give the deadly benefit of the doubt. Why? Because I lacked so many things, and I needed people to hang on to, regardless of how they treated me. I would poke my eye with a fork to have had enough strength sooner to discard such people. But I wasn't ready. And you, my dear listener, if you're not ready to discard these people from your life, the least you can do right now is to be kind to yourself. Face the facts, give yourself time to accept the reality of your situation, and be patient and kind to yourself. Don't call yourself a fool. Don't call yourself weak or unevolved. Don't call yourself a loser. All that is unproductive. Instead, face the facts. Be vulnerable enough to admit to yourself that, well, you've been taken for a ride. Stop deluding yourself. This is where strength will come to you. Because the ultimate form of strength is vulnerability. And when you're ready, you don't even need to give anyone any ultimatum. Your aura, vibration, or soul frequency, however you want to call it, will be so powerful that these people will feel it. And they'll just scuttle off and find someone else. Believe me, I've seen this happen time and again. Do you know what happens to you after they've gone? You'll feel something that you never expected, and that is gratitude towards them. Because of them, you discovered your hidden strengths. Meanwhile, they've gone off to do the same to someone else. You see, that's just their role in this life. So instead of resenting them, be grateful, but not too grateful, okay? That you call them to thank them. There's no need for that. They'll see it as just a new gap in the door. Or they might not even bother with you because, they've moved on to a new sucker. So stay away. There's nothing wrong with being grateful from afar. Is all this a bit harsh? Is it? Is it too harsh? No. If you're intimidated by people who don't have your interests at heart, and you feel bad putting yourself first, then borrow some courage from Marilyn Monroe, who once said this: "If you can't handle me at my worst, then honey, you sure don't deserve me at my best." With this, I wish you well. Take care. Bye for now. Thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, please share it.